gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome for the very first time to the Knapp Daddy Cup Series here live on Knapp Daddy Racing. Thank you all very much for joining us. Got a little bit of a different show here for you today. What you're actually going to be seeing here is pre-recorded from last night's shootout race here at Monza. Don't know what everyone else thinks of when you think of Italy. Some might think of beautiful countryside. Some might think of the amazing handmade pasta. We think of 30-degree banked turns and 200 miles an hour. So welcome to Monza here for our shootout. So you can see all the action that took place last night here in our first preseason race. As always, up in the booth, my name is Hunter Foley. I'm here with my broadcast partner, Jonathan Smith, and we're going to also be introducing a new voice to you here in just a moment. First things first, want to make sure that we pay the bills and shout out the sponsors and also shout out ourselves. This is the Knapp Daddy Cup Series. We are Knapp Daddy Racing. Started in 2024, trying to just be your iRacing stop for all of your designs, logos, numbers, things like that. We've now branched out to try to be your one-stop shop for anything and everything iRacing. Be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the action that is going to be upcoming every single Monday night here for the Knapp Daddy Cup Series. Be sure to check out our website, knapdaddyracing.com, for any and all of your logo, template, or custom design needs. And be sure to catch us live on TikTok as often as you can on all social medias, Knapp Daddy Racing. Like, follow, subscribe, all that sort of nonsense. We appreciate it. I know the drivers are going to appreciate it as well. Tonight's race is also brought to you by Throttle Zombie Racing. That is the racing company of our very own Christian Morris. He's going to be out here on the track tonight and with us through the rest of the season. So big shout out to him for stepping up and making this race possible, being our race sponsor here tonight. You can also catch him live on other iRacing leagues as well. And if you're into going to watch the real thing happen, you can often catch him racing at Caraway in North Carolina. So if you find yourself out near Caraway Raceway, be sure to go cheer on Christian Morris and let him know Knapp Daddy Racing sent you. Let's get on over to the action. We have qualifying going on, and then we have a couple of heats that are going to be coming up here. But before that, let me throw it on over to my broadcast partner, Jonathan Smith, to talk to us a little bit more about what's going on here and to welcome a new, I was going to say a new face, but really more welcome a new voice to the broadcast.
There we go. Yeah, excited to be here. Tried some technical difficulties between last night, tonight, and everything else, along with this iRacing 100 gigabyte update for some people, closer to 60 for others. But I think it's going to be a fun night. This is going to be our first preseason race for the Knapp Daddy Racing League here at Monza. Sure to be a good time. We just had qualifying end up right there. Trying to get onto this heat race that's about to start. I just want to introduce our third broadcaster who's going to be joining us for some of the races this season, Baker Knapp, actually where the Knapp Daddy part comes from. He took a little hiatus from iRacing for a little bit. Now he is coming back to it. So welcome, Baker. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, guys, it's exciting to be back. Exciting to watch some good racing happen tonight. And, it's fun. It's fun to be back around the sport, back around everything that goes around with iRacing, and exciting to be here for the start of the new league. And, I just recently moved to Louisville, so Louisville, Kentucky is now home. Originally was in West Virginia, but that was all part of the little hiatus from iRacing. But it's good to be back. I'm excited to see these guys go out here and fly around this track tonight. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a lot of fun. We do have our first heat race coming up right now. Starting off in this pole position, it's going to be Brandon Lopez. There, actually not even on this first heat race. That's going to be Daniel Wilkerson there on the inside row, followed by Brandon Trush on the outside. Bill Gentry behind him on the inside, starting third. Brandon Lopez starting in fourth. And then we have that 14 car of Dagan Barnes out there in the fifth position. Stephen Bonomo in the 9 car right beside him. And that 12 car, I believe that is going to be Zachary Baker. So I have a little bit different format here with the overlays and everything tonight, since this is a pre-recorded race. But I promise you, next Monday night right here, we'll be right back to it. Brandon Lopez kind of clips that wall going in there. I can see that might be a little trouble as this race gets started.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that clip in the wall here, except the difference is here with 30-degree banking and 200-plus miles an hour, you clip the wall a little bit and you get a one-way meet and greet ticket to shake hands with Steve Irwin. So I'm sure we're going to be seeing a little bit of that here tonight. But like you were saying, it is super exciting to be up here in the booth. You're going to see some familiar faces if you've been following for a while. Got some faces in here you're going to recognize from the esteemed, the wonderful Doghouse Racing League. And then if you have been a follower of Knapp Daddy Racing on YouTube for a while, you will see some names in here from the Sunbelt Reynolds Cup Series where we were broadcasting previously. But we are getting under a green flag here as the pace car is off, and we're going to get this first heat underway. Got Jamie Horn in the comments saying John is a little bit low voice-wise. And we're spinning already.
There's going to be plenty of that. This track is wild. Some of these guys are, just running over 200 miles an hour for a lot of the lap. So they're flying out there. Hopefully not literally, but they're flying around the track for sure.
There was a little bit of that too, gonna be honest.
Yeah, a lot of these guys did talk about trying to clear with air traffic control as these bankings 30 degrees as you go around these corners. You can definitely fly off the edge there or fly into the woods on the opposite sides. We saw a little spin out as we got started here, but right now Brandon Trush pulling off to a pretty good start. Daniel Wilkerson behind him, and Brandon Lopez looks like he is going to be in that third place spot. Not really sure what our board up there is showing, but now it's there updating.
Yeah, it took it just a second there. But, I mean, going around that corner, I was looking at some of the in-car cams. This thing was happening last night. And because not only are you going around a 30-degree banking at 200 miles an hour, it's also bumpy. So you look at the inside of the cockpit on these cars, and, I mean, it looked like a nightmare. It looks like you're trying to fly a jet plane. Like, look at this. As we start to go into this banking here, you start turning it just a little bit. Start hitting some of those bumps. 30 degrees of banking, 200 miles an hour. Hang on for dear life. You come out here into the flat, and then it's like, okay, well, we're fine here. There's also a wall that comes out right there on the left side of your screen. You saw that come into play. I don't understand really, and maybe this is just poor racecraft on my part. I don't understand how anyone was ever able to race here.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty dangerous track, if you want my opinion. I know there was a few recorded deaths at this track as well. I never like to hear that, but looking at this track, you can definitely tell why. Just the way it's shaped and the angle and how fast you get. A lot of these drivers getting up to about 200 miles an hour, some over on these stretches here as they come around. Very bumpy too. Not a lot of lanes to make passes with. You see Stephen Bonomo up there on the high side trying to hold off that Bill Gentry behind him.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is that not only do you have the 30 degrees of banking, not only do you have 200 plus miles an hour, there's draft. And it is actually very intense out there on the track. I heard a couple of guys talking about it last night. And if you needed anything to make it even more difficult out there, especially with the previous big iRacing update. I know we just had one today, but draft became kind of a much bigger deal, especially how it moves kind of off the back of the cars. That draft wash is real, and it can hurt, more so literally here at Monza.
Pulling up our lap time graph here, so we got about 5 drivers still out there. Looks like it's gonna be Brandon Trush in P1, followed by Daniel Wilkerson, Brandon Lopez behind him. Still this little battle here for 4th and 5th between Stephen Bonomo and Bill Gentry. This is heat 1. I'm trying to get the lap time up for you. We are currently on lap 5:10.
One of the things that was really cool, so kind of seeing all this happen, like we were talking about at the beginning of this thing, is you know, as we've been doing this broadcasting thing and been involved with a couple of really great leagues and been on TikTok and all these other things, is you get to just kind of run into all these really great, not only great drivers, but just great people. And so you look at this heat right here. I mean, there's people in here that we've been broadcasting for over a year now. Ooh, a little bit loose right there. Come back up.
That is the 28 of Daniel Wilkerson. I did not even know the tires could do that on the back there. He's going to get to Bill Gentry. Steven Bonomo also there in the wall.
What a bad hit.
That's going to leave just Brandon Trush out there with Lopez right behind him. Brandon Lopez as well. I just get my Brandons mixed up.
Yeah, we've got out there, I mean, you know, Brandon Trush, we got introduced to him in the Sunbelt Reynolds Cup Series. He's now become a part of the Doghouse Racing League, been a friend of the brand for a long time. Brandon Lopez, a little bit newer to the Doghouse Racing League, but then came over here, wanted to join in with us as well. And Bill Gentry, been around in the Doghouse Racing League for forever. Same with Steven Bonomo, Daniel Wilkerson, the fearless leader over there. We got a couple of guys with number 14 Barnes and Baker there, who I think we really kind of met through doing this, through doing broadcasting, through doing TikTok, and able to get them out there on the track as well. So it's one of the really cool things. The iRacing community is pretty tight knit. There's only so many people that are involved in like the iRacing community, and to kind of see it all come together, and hopefully it's going to be a really great and successful league, fun for everybody, is really, really exciting. Got Kathy Trush in the comments over here. Team Trush number 23, a day late, LOL. She was here last night while we were dealing with all of our technical difficulties. So thank you, Kathy, not only for being here last night, but for also jumping back over here and hanging out with us today. She's also watching her backup driver, number 98. That is Mr. Jamie Horn.
I'm so used to Brandon driving that 3 car in another league. And, I think he's in the 5 car out here tonight. You see Steve Bonomo back out there on the track.
Got Brandon actually in the comments right now. He said it's like racing on a bumpy ice rink that's banked.
And Brandon Trush gets sideways there.
There was the bumpy ice rink.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was talking about, and that's going to make Brandon Lopez your new leader for this heat with 2 laps to go here. Coming to 2 laps to go as they cross the strike.
And as much fun as this was, good.
There's a lot of attrition, so you just got to keep your car on the track. That's the biggest thing, which is unfortunately hard to do. Is even cars by themselves are getting loose and spinning out, and there's nothing they can really do to the setup of the car either to help with that. There's not much. Is there, John? Is there any other thing that could have been done to the setup?
No, these are completely fixed setup racing here. There is a baseline setup that iRacing does provide, and I don't ever want to knock iRacing setups because I use them all the time, but sometimes not the best and not always fitting to the driver's style.
Baker, it's actually so funny that you bring that up. We were talking about that a little bit before that race started last night, and I think it was actually Jamie that brought up, he said, I think the guy that stays down there on the yellow line, drives about 100 miles an hour the whole time, is probably going to win. And given how everything kind of went down, he was probably very right.
See if we can check back in here with Brandon Trush, who's getting it back out there on the track. He's going to still hold that second place spot, about 7.2 seconds behind your leader, Steven Bonomo, out there as well. 1 lap down. I believe Daniel Wilkerson is also out there too. Yeah. I don't even know what line you would run here.
I don't think there's a line. I don't think there's a strategy. I think it's really just hold on for dear life and pray to your personal God that you don't become a airplane. Jamie actually in the comments over here as well saying, Kathy, don't pull for me tonight. I was trying out for my pilot's license instead of racing and failed at that.
That is going to do it for our first heat. Brandon Lopez taking that one. Looks like Brandon Trush gonna be second place, Stephen Bonomo third, Daniel Wilkerson fourth, Dagan Barnes in fifth, Bill Gentry in sixth, Zachary Baker seventh, and then Hunter Foley, who is up there in the standings there, so you get you a few points just for being a broadcaster tonight.
Yeah, funny enough, when we were trying to get all this figured out last night, I was panicking, jumping in and out of the session, trying to figure out if there was any way that I could have the admin privileges so I could, throw yellows, throw a black flag, whatever I needed to do, and realized pretty quickly that I couldn't do any of that, and was instead just now my name would be up there, even though I wasn't going to be touching the wheel. And honestly, a great thing for everyone that I was not out there on the track. Everyone should be thankful.
I'm always thankful when you're not on the track.
Okay, I feel like that was unnecessarily hurtful.
Because you're up here in the booth. That's what I meant.
Sure.
We are about to start grading up here for Heat 2, waiting for some of these cars to get out on the track. I believe the next heat is going to consist of Justin McMahon, Tyler Millette, Christian Morris, Jamie Horn, Thomas McLaughlin, and Frank Marchese and Brenton Watts.
Again, just a really cool mix there of different drivers that we've had the privilege of getting to know over the past year and a half of doing this. Justin McMahon, Tyler Millette, guys we've known for a while from the Doghouse Racing League. Christian Morris actually kind of new, not only to the Knapp Daddy Racing League, but kind of new to like our whole world as well. It's actually a co-worker of mine, and not only does iRacing, but races in real life as well. And so, like I said, if you find yourself in North Carolina out near Caraway, you can go out there and poot and holler for Christian if you want to, and his team Throttle Zombie Racing. But then Thomas McLaughlin, I think we met him through TikTok and through Discord, if I'm not mistaken. Same with Brenton. And then Frank Marchese, one third, of Trash Panda Motorsports. Met them through the Sunbelt Reynolds Cup Series. Now they've come over here to help us with the Knapp Daddy Racing League. One of his teammate, Greg McConey, been a huge help in making this whole thing happen as well.
Yeah, so a lot of guys coming together to help fuel this thing and get it going. I know this first start for the preseason was not ideal, had a lot of stuff kind of happen to just about everybody at the same time, it seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
But we're here. We're going to get this broadcast in regardless, even though it's not going to be the greatest with our overlay system. Our current overlay system we use does not work with pre-recorded broadcasts, and I did not know that until late last night, but we're working through it. Promise you that it only gets better from here, so that's something to look forward to as we go into next Monday night at Rockingham.
And all of the races will not be at tracks like Monza. You are going to see a lot of tracks that are very familiar and that these drivers are going to be a little bit more familiar with, as we see the pace car pull off and see this group get ready to head on out there to start, again, just the absolute chaos that is Monza. Also, if you see that sign there that we just passed there, Monza's a short name for this track, because I'm pretty sure if I try to pronounce it, I'm going to make myself look like a real idiot. But Kathy Trush again in the comments. Jamie Horn, you'll be my backup pilot then. Justin McMahon said, I know who I'm rooting for. Hey, if you can't cheer on yourself, who's going to cheer for you? There's some words to live by. Take that home with you. Put that on your LinkedIn.
And another big change for me here as well is I'm used to seeing Justin McMahon in the 24 Group 6 car. He has switched to the 3 car for our lead. That's going to be Frank the Tank Marchese up there, the Italian stallion in his homeland of Italy, I guess. Somebody I think that's Christian Morris, just went way off the track, able to kind of keep it together there in that Detroit Lions 11 car.
Great start for the Detroit Lions there. Oh, little slide there down on the bottom of the track as well.
That's going to be Brenton Watts down there trying to pick up our John Deere Green Award, and Thomas McLaughlin by him in that 10 car.
Thomas, you're gonna have to let us know if it's McLaughlin or McLaughlin.
Yeah,
I've heard both.
I think it's McLaughlin, to be honest, and I'm just saying it.
Again, you see these guys going around that banking, and it's crazy to see them kind of rip it off that corner. You saw back into Jamie Horn's car, almost get out from under him right there, but still just laying the hammer down. I mean, not like you really had much of a choice at this track, but when you consider you're getting around this thing in about 46 seconds, and I think it's, what is it, a 3-mile track almost? A little over 3 miles?
It's a long one.
Yeah, it's just crazy to watch this thing happen. Alex in the comments saying, looks very fun.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have very mixed opinions on the people that think if it's fun or not. I think maybe we were having a lot of fun for a little while, then we were having less fun for... I'm not sure exactly where we ended up on the whole fun side of things, but either way, something just went flying right there.
Not having fun right now. Jamie Horn. That whole
Good one, 10 points.
Right front. You like that transition there? Hey, he's
That was
going to
good
just
work.
slide in there.
Oh, dear Lord.
Right in the edge of the wall there. But we still got these 3 cars out front, which is nice. We're staying a little bit closer together, which is something I was watching for in this heat that we didn't see in the first heat. In the first heat, a lot of the cars got spread out, but so far in this heat, well, now these 3 cars are able to stick together pretty well.
Yeah, I think it was Frank that was in our Discord talking about this race, and he was like, I feel like every time we go around this track, I get a little closer to having a meet and greet with Dale Sr. So this was an experience for everybody, I'm quite sure. And appreciate everybody again for sticking with us last night, staying out there on the track and dealing with the good times at Monza. It was really, really fun to watch. I mean, I think Alex actually kind of sums it up pretty good in the comments, saying driving myself, maybe rather not, but watching, yes. Watching it is a hoot. And then everyone that joined with us last night through the difficulties and is hanging out with us tonight. We got 9 people had, I think 12 or 13 people. And they're just feeling to go again. Just thank y'all so much for joining us. It means a lot to myself and to John and Baker to be able to be up here in the booth and do this, especially when it's got, I say our name because it's been the company name. It's Baker's name, like technically, governmentally, but
Governmentally.
But either way, we do appreciate it a lot. It is not lost on us that we're lucky to be in this position, and it's taken a lot of work from not only us, but from a lot of people to make this whole thing happen. So we're really, really excited for the future and what everything's going to be coming through this league. And if anybody has any questions at all about the league, maybe you want to join, you want to know when to tune in, anything like that, feel free to throw it in the comments, shoot any one of us a DM. You can also find us on Instagram. You can shoot us a message there, comments on the YouTube. If you find us live on TikTok, as you're liable to from time to time, feel free to jump in there and say what's up. Anybody that wants to get involved or help out, whether that be you want to be on the track, or you want to sponsor a driver, or you want to sponsor a race or anything like that, we do still have some sponsorship spots open as well. Again, shout out to Christian Morris and his team, Throttle Zombie Racing, for stepping up and sponsoring this race tonight. But any questions that we can answer or anything that we can do to make your viewing or driving experience more enjoyable. I feel like an American Airlines pilot right now.
You do.
I mean, it is basically the airlines with how fast these cars are going and getting in the air too.
Almost
Good
3
work.
wide there too, man. Looks like Justin McMahon passing Tyler Millette earlier to get in that second place spot and then going right to the front. Oh, and that's Tyler Millette. Frank Marchese kind of getting into it just a little bit. That's going to send
Looks like
Frank
he got
Marchese
into
back
the
a
wall
little
a
bit.
bit. A little bit of contact with the wall, but he's still able to keep on going at least. At least it looks like it so far.
Yeah, now Tyler Millette's got to run down Justin McMahon here. I just looked at the speeds over here, and I had Tyler Millette hitting 213 miles an hour just a second ago.
That's definitely takeoff speed for sure. Definitely takeoff speed.
Yeah, I think someone took a clip from this race, and one of the cars that was kind of flying put the "I Believe I Can Fly" music behind it. I mean, that's just ready to go viral on TikTok. It's high quality memes.
Well, that's making up some ground right here. He's closing in on him, coming to this last lap and a half right now. But
You see McMahon jump down to the bottom there, trying to break that draft up just a little bit if he can to create some distance there. But Millett's going to have a little bit of an advantage to pull in with that draft. It's just there's no lane to pass here, it looks like. It looks like this track is 2.5 lanes wide.
It pretty much
like
is.
with,
I mean,
yeah, but it looks
go
like
ahead.
with three cars or more you can pass, but it's really hard to pass with 2 cars, because with 3 you could try to get out and get a draft from another car in front and help you get past the car in second, or get a push to get past the car in first. But when there's just 2 cars, it's really hard to time that draft out to pass by yourself.
And one of the things you're going to notice kind of throughout the season, again, Monza is kind of an odd example, but with the new updates that iRacing's put into the way the cars draft, it made it so the draft actually does kind of suck in a lot more. You're able to jump back into the draft a lot easier than you used to, but it doesn't carry you over quite as much as it used to. I know we've seen, John, I think I've been up in the spotter booth for you before, when you're basically at Daytona and you just kind of hop up there and you side draft your way all to the front. It's a lot harder to do that with the new update.
And taking that heat there for heat 2 is going to be Justin McMahon, Tyler Millette in second, Christian Morris in third, Jamie Horn bringing home in 4th place. That is going to be Thomas McLaughlin, I'm going to say it that time. In 5th, Frank Marchese 6th, Brenton Watts 7th. But I don't think Brendan Lopez was in that heat, but it's showing him on our standings board here. Again, not our normal overlays and everything, but next week we'll be right back to it with that. So waiting here for this main feature to start. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back.
We are jumping right back in here to our featured race. We're doing 30 laps here at Monza. This was our featured race last night, following those 2 heats right there. Out front, you're going to have that number 5 Taco Bell machine of Brandon Lopez, Justin McMahon right along beside him. You're going to have Brandon Trush up there alongside Tyler Millette, Stephen Bonomo up there on that 5th row alongside Christian Morris, Daniel Wilkerson up there along with Jamie Horn and Dagan Barnes. And this is where things start to get a little bit crazy. Got Thomas McLaughlin there, pace car coming off. Then we got Bill Gentry right behind him. Not 100% sure who was back there in the 10th spot. Brenton Watts was back there as well. Then you see that kind of separation is, and it started already.
believe that's going to be the 14 of Dagan Barnes getting around there on the first turn. Brandon Lopez trying to challenge Just McMahon on the inside as we get started back here. Going to think better of it, jump back in line, hold that draft.
It's all about survival. There's no yellows.
There was no yellows, which I was giving myself a couple extra gray hairs last night trying to figure out if I could throw yellows. I couldn't, so it was an excellent point there by Baker. It was very literally about survival out there last night.
So far, so good, man. All these guys got to do is get over these speed bumps they put in the middle of the track and hold on to it. Looks like Jamie Horn back there jumping down to the low side. Not sure if he got loose or what. He's going to fall back there to the 8th place position. You come around and you also see these green banners on the top of a lot of these cars. These are specific for the Doghouse Racing League. Trying to get all the drivers to have it so we can kind of help out the sponsors. If they do sponsor a race, they'll get put on the side of the car. Also, when playoff time comes, they will be switching over to have playoff banners for the drivers who make it. And then for the drivers who finish high enough in the playoffs, first, second, or third, they will get a separate icon to put on their car next season to a little boost some motivation to finish high up and get that little stamp on your car to show that you did something here.
You did say Doghouse Racing League there, which shout out Doghouse Racing League, gave us our big break in broadcasting. This is the Knapp Daddy Racing League.
It is the Knapp Daddy Racing League. I have a Doghouse race here in about an hour that you can check out on Intensity Broadcasting on YouTube.
Look at the plug. Look at the plug.
Always got to plug Intensity Broadcasting. We take a lot of notes from Josh over there. Intensity does a fantastic job. I mean, that's kind of, I think, a lot of the stuff that we try to emulate when we first started out and grow from there. But yeah, Intensity Broadcasting tonight. I believe it's going to start at 7:45 or 8 o'clock on Intensity Broadcasting on YouTube. But I just saw, I think, Brandon Trush go around back here in the back of the pack. That was not Brandon Trush. It was another silver car.
Is it Jamie Horn?
Jamie is still rolling. I believe that's going to be the 12 car, possibly. He's going to tow back to the pits of Zachary Baker.
Yeah, I think these drivers are probably all looking forward to getting back to a place that maybe they're a little bit more accustomed to. But scheduling was actually done for the Knapp Daddy Racing League by, again, been a huge help to us with getting this thing rolling, and teammate of Frank Marquez, Mr. Greg McConey ended up doing the schedule. Wanted to make it so it was kind of a short and sweet season. You know, a lot of quick hitters, some popular tracks in there that you're going to have a lot of guys that can have a lot of success at, and some tracks that are a little bit more difficult. And wanted to start off the season with something that's just really kind of fun and chaotic. I actually talked to, I see you're on Christian Morris right there. You see Brandon Lopez get up into the wall. Tom Millette goes sliding as well. Look at the drift job by Christian Morris to get around it as well.
There's also Frank Marchese down there at the bottom, trying to get back on track. Almost to it's Bill Gentry and Jamie Horn as he goes around there. Checking back in with the leaders, so Just McMahon still in P1, Brandon Trush in P2, trying to get around McMahon here. They're going to have a little bit of a gap on the third place driver, Jamie Horn. Quite a big gap, actually, about 20 seconds almost.
Yeah, definitely pretty quick to build out here at Monza. You mean, if you get slowed down to 150 miles an hour, I mean, you're losing just insane amounts of time. But Justin, man, Brandon Trush definitely had something figured out here tonight. I don't know what their mystery magic was, but they had something going on here tonight. And then I was actually talking to Christian Morris today, and he was saying, you know, how it was really like nothing he'd ever raced before. I mean, a lot of guys had to buy this track to be able to race it here for this race. So again, just a huge shout out to everybody for joining in with us. But he said it was just a ton of fun and like nothing he'd ever really been able to race before. Said he kind of wants to take his truck league here and try it out.
I don't know if I ever want to come back to this track. Just watching it, I would never want to come back, but
Speaking of the upcoming schedule and how crazy and fun this one race was, and how everything else kind of gets more normal for the rest of the season. John, what is the track you're looking forward to the most, and also the track you're probably the most nervous about?
well, that's a great question. Greg's kind of built out a really good schedule here. I know one of the tracks that we try to avoid some super speedways, but one of these super speedways we are going to is Talladega, and it's going to be in the morning time Talladega, so it'll be a cooler track, probably a little bit more humidity, probably going to see some pretty high speeds out there going there, but also going to Rockingham next week. A little different from Monza here. I'm excited to see that one, but I know how Rockingham kind of play, very bumpy as you go around turns 3 and 4 there, similar to this, so the guys are already shaken up from this track, and now we're going to a track that has a few more bumps. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see Michigan as well, because I think a lot of guys do very well there and always some good racing.
Brandon in the comments saying lap 9, turn 4.
We just got a prompt.
I think we just got a prompt. Just keep an eye on that as we are coming into lap 9 here very, very shortly. But again, schedule for the Knapp Daddy Racing League. We will be racing every single Monday night at 8:15. Heading to Rockingham next week. Kentucky the week after that for the Engine 4 Coffee Company 225. Longtime friend of the Knapp Daddy brand over at Engine 4 Coffee Company. Dover Auto Club, Old Atlanta, the Midwest Motor Customs 300 at Michigan, the Alabama 300 at Dega. And we also have Iowa after that, and then I actually think I missed Auto Club and the Kansas Roval for the Cocky Lee Consulting 150.
Kansas Roval is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, not for guys like me that can't make right-hand turns, but I know a guy that can is Brandon Trush up here in the 23 car. Definitely likes his road courses. Jamie Horn and Brandon Trush went at it earlier this year in the Doghouse Racing League at both road courses, so it's going to be exciting to get out there to that road course and see what can happen. But Brandon Trush making a pass here on the leader and taking first place from Just McMahon.
It was a super clean pass. I wonder if McMahon got loose there off of turn 4, because he was down on the inside of the track, so he might have gotten loose, and then Trush got up there and got the lead right from him. It was a nice, clean pass and a good prompt for turn 4 on lap 9.
See if we can check in with some more of the field here as I go back to Brandon Lopez here in the 10th place spot, and it looks like he is chasing down Tyler Millette, Steven Bonomo 8th and 9th place. All those guys 2 laps down. They can see the leaders ahead. Just got to form up a pretty good pack to get around them and catch up to them.
John, what are we looking at in difference in speeds from a single car to a 2-car group to a 3-car group? Is there much of a speed difference between Lopez being the 3rd car in line versus McLaughlin running here by himself?
Yes, as they're looking at McLaughlin down this front stretch here. Our max speed is almost... I was trying to see what he was going to top out there as he was going down. Looks like he was going about 203 was topping out, maybe 204 if we're lucky. If I go back here to our leaders, or maybe even the pack over here. I believe Tyler Millette was in that pack there too. Hopping back here to the pack, I got right before that Steven Bonomo hitting speeds closer to about 213.
I was going to say, last night we were seeing it in the draft somewhere between like 208 and 213. You're by yourself, you were still well into the clear 200. That was just closer to 203, 202, something like that. Brandon in the comments was saying that he had gotten loose and made a really great save. That's how he ended up getting up there and getting around.
Yeah, while we were looking at all that, Justin McMahon making that pass right back for the lead. Justin kind of ripping the high side here. So a little difference in strategies, difference in lines.
I do got to say, I know, like you said, we're used to seeing that 24 on the Group 6 of Justin McMahon, but 3 looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, the 3 looks clean on that Group 6 paint. And I believe that's going to be a new paint scheme in general for Justin McMahon. Same colors, but I think the overall design is a little bit different.
I believe you're correct. And then on that Machina 23 Machina Brandon Trush there, they got a Knapp Daddy Customs paint on that thing right there.
Yeah, that was a fun one to work on and to make. I got another one right now in the booth for Brandon Trush. It's probably going to be one of my favorites that I've made so far. I'm just kind of taking my time with it, being very meticulous with it, but also having a lot of stuff, it seems like, coming up here in the past week. That's taking my time away from that, but by next week, I think if he decides to run that new scheme next week, it's going to look sweet.
Look at how you have to try to set up passes here. I mean, you got to get all the way down on the bottom, right near that apron. You hit that apron, you're kind of sending your car into a ramp position to fly back up the track.
Yeah,
so you got to put yourself in some sort of position to where you're actually able to move the thing forward.
Yeah, it's like the bumps are picking up the back end and just spinning it around for him. Once it catches down the ground and gets traction, you're fully spinning around.
And then, oh, big tag of the wall right there by Brandon Trush. Hey, at least you caught it square on that one. I mean, that's basically just turn assist at that point.
Yeah.
That's where running right in line, being at the draft is going to make it a little bit tricky, because that car's going to pick up that little bit of push in that draft. So you can see, like, most of the time, Brandon has been a little offset through the turns, and that time he tried to run that outside and made him a little tight and got him into the wall. See right here how he's offset on the bottom? It's worked well for him too.
Yeah, I know for some of our older viewers here, our longtime viewers here, we were talking about that aero blocking. You try to stay below that front car on the left-hand side as you go through the corner. Can help your car stay a little bit more free, get a little bit better control. But as soon as you cross over, like Baker was talking about, it's going to tighten up that car and might send you up the track a little bit.
Exactly what you don't want to be doing here at Monza, considering the fact that you're going 210 miles an hour, and they've got a guardrail that on the side of that thing that looks like the same guardrail that will take you down the mountain up in Highland County, Virginia, at my parents' house.
Yeah, I was about to say, it looks like they borrowed those from 795 out there. The little median guardrails.
That's exactly what it looks like.
I think those things would hurt.
I can't imagine it would feel good. All you need is the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit. Speaking of hurt, did you see Tyler Millette right there?
Hit.
Yeah, he's trying to slow it down there.
Keeping it rolling though, but off that wall pretty good.
I still got Steve Bonomo, that pack, running out there, and McLaughlin's still there running around. I believe that was Lopez that was also in that pack.
Yeah, right before that though, what's crazy to see is how much time that Lopez and Millette and Bonomo were making up on those top 2 cars.
Once you're back in the draft with a car that actually runs pretty good, you can make up time pretty well. Same thing, you got Bill Gentry there in 3rd place. He was back, I believe, in 6th or 7th here earlier on. Same thing for Christian Morris. He had fallen back to 6th or 7th, I believe, after kind of getting slidey there in the beginning, trying to get around that first accident. And then he was able to fight his way back up there and get into the top 5.
Yeah, Bill Gentry in that 4 car right there is on the league lap, so he's 9 seconds behind the leaders. He might try to work with Christian Morris, who is a lap down, to try to catch up with this front pack. He's got 9 seconds to make up, hoping for a mistake out of either Justin McMahon or Brandon Trush. Something to slow him down just a little bit so he can catch up there and try to seal a win here with 11 to go.
It's crazy to me, too, just how fast it seemed like everything went. We were doing 30 laps here for the actual main race here last night, and just the speeds that these guys are going at. I mean, it seems like you look up and you're only got 10 laps to go. I can't imagine what it would actually be like trying to run here, you know, for 80, 90, 100 laps and having to try to like balance pit stops and everything like that as well.
About to say, could you imagine
a driver's headache?
And just imagine a green flag pit stop. I mean, it would never happen if there were cautions, because there's going to be cautions. But if you would imagine a green flag pit stop here, that would be wild, because there's not much time once you come off of turn 4 to try to get down to a pit road speed. It would be a nightmare.
I feel like I need to find out now what the pit road speed is here, because if it's 35.
I wish there was a way to set it, because I would take them completely off for this track just for one race only. You just go as fast as you can to your pit stop.
Right down pit road.
Yeah.
Just carry your speed 200 miles an hour. Everybody get out of the way.
You get an extra playoff point for sliding through at least 10 boxes. I'm talking
I actually got
locked up like brakes and then tire marks all the way for 10 boxes to your pit stall.
I actually got my Monza history right. I think it was actually the reason they quit running here for a long time, was because it was just such a hazard to drive. I think they had their first fatality within like 8 months of it opening.
Ooh. Brandon Trush kind of loose there on the bottom side, slides back in front of Steven Bonomo in that 9 car. Bonomo is a lap down, 2 laps down, running in 7th place, trying to get a lap back the old-fashioned way, but that's going to single out Justin McMahon to get him further out there as your leader right now. Looks like by about maybe 10 car lengths. More than that, growing it even more now.
I'm saying being able to run this track like he was and like maintain control, not end up in any trouble, none of the cautions, anything like that. I mean, just wildly impressive, because I mean, we were talking about for a lot of these drivers how there's just nothing that you can really compare Monza to. There's nothing that you do in your typical circuit or on your typical league that is anything like what this track actually puts out there. And so being a completely new experience makes it really fun to watch. Got to imagine it was a giant pain in the butt for these drivers out there that were trying to get this thing figured out on the fly, especially since it was not able to throw any cautions while this thing was going on. Yeah, I actually got Brandon in the comments helping me out here. Monza has 70 mile an hour pit lane speed, so you only got to get woed down about 130 miles an hour.
Oh, that's nothing.
Cash, easy money.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it.
Well, I know for a lot of these drivers, especially the Doghouse Racing League, they're going from one of the biggest tracks you can race on the iRacing circuit, biggest oval iRacing track, I believe. I'm not sure if the iRacing Super Speedway is bigger or not, but they'll be going from that, and then tonight they're going to Bristol, so one of the shorter, almost one of the smallest tracks that you can go to. Big change for a lot of these guys, and they will also be in the ARCA cars tonight. I'll be joining them here at 8 o'clock, jumping in the car and trying to see what I can do at Bristol.
And again, shout out to everybody who's kind of helped us get to this point, not only being in the broadcast booth. I mean, Doghouse gave us our first big break, so huge shout out to them. And like you said, you can catch tonight's race for their league on Intensity Broadcasting. Learned a lot from those guys over there. They do a really, really class broadcast over there. But between the guys from the Doghouse Racing League, guys from the Sunbelt Reynolds Cup Series, everyone who's come over and either gotten on the track and helped us get our car count up, to people who have helped us with the Discord, getting the league set up, and helping make the rule book and everything. Don't get me wrong, we've put in a lot of work up here on our end, but it is absolutely not possible without everybody that's helped us out by racing or helping us get the league started or anything like that. We owe it all to those guys and everybody that continues to tune in and watch, like, and comment and all that good stuff.
We're sitting here watching Thomas McLaughlin in that number 10 car, or 38 car, sorry, trying to get around the 11 car of Christian Morris. I believe Morris is actually going to be 1 lap down. McLaughlin is 2 laps down, so this pass right here would not count for position change, but at least gets you just a little bit closer to the front, where these guys will work together and try to draft up there. Also want to check in on our 3rd place guy, Bill Gentry, having a run for himself tonight. Got about 5 laps to go to catch up to this lead pack. That's still hanging around out here. About 18 seconds ahead, it looks like. So I don't know if Bill got loose from the last time we checked in on him or what, but he has fell back about 9 seconds since then.
When you look at the front, I mean, just Justin McMahon still out there commanding the lead on this thing, but then Brandon Trush just not going away, sitting there right there behind him. I think he's about 0.3 of a second back right here. You got Steven Bonomo right behind him, and Steven a couple of laps down, but still able to run right there with that lead pack of guys. But again, it's just kind of the craziness that was happening here at Monza. I mean, Steven Bonomo a couple laps down, running right there with the leaders. Christian Morris is a lap down. He's 4th place. Daniel Wilkerson lap down, 5th place. It's just, I don't know that I've ever really seen anything like it. Dan.
Brandon Trush going around in front of Steven Bonomo. What a heartbreaker. Kept it together for so long.
Such a clean race, but then this track bites at the worst time sometimes.
That's going to make Justin McMahon here a leader by probably about 20 seconds once this filters out and Bill Gentry gets around Brandon Trush there. See if Trush is not bringing it down pit road, going to keep it out and try to get these last few laps in. So we have about 3 to go.
And honestly, just the amount of skill that it takes to control a spin here with that, not just the speed, but also the overall incline of the sides of the track. I mean, it's unbelievable. We saw, I can't tell you how many people I saw in practice that were flying around this thing, and you get a little bit loose, car wobbles, and I mean, you just have a weekender of a wreck. I mean, we're not talking about going down pit road, a couple of minutes of damage. We're talking about just throw the thing in the recycling bin on your way out. Put it in the metal bin. It's done for. Thanks for playing. Don't litter.
Look at you being environmentally conscious.
I mean, look at all the trees, man.
There's a lot of trees at this track, and I'll tell you, it's made the camera setup quite a difficult challenge.
I was gonna say, well, I was trying to switch between different camera angles last night. I was like, this is set up the cameras for this.
I believe I set up 1 camera for this whole track this week, and I don't even like it. I don't think I've used it once since we started racing tonight, but Rockingham a little bit different. I already got my camera package set up for that. I have a lot of different angles, and definitely going to be working it there. I'm excited to get back to our normal overlay system, but excited right now. Justin McMahon bringing it around this backstretch this last time, trying to win the first official, I guess, officially unofficial race for the Knapp Daddy Racing League, as he's going to bring it through turn 3 and 4 for the last time here.
Justin McMahon just did such a great job here tonight. Managed to keep his nose clean through this entire thing, manage the speed, manage the banking, was able to keep his wheel behind it the entire time. And Justin McMahon becomes the inaugural winner of the Knapp Daddy Cup Series here in our heat race at Monza. Congratulations to him. Well-earned victory. Very, very tough night for everybody involved. Bill Gentry brings it around. 2nd place, setting up a great run for the rest of the season. Brandon Trush, unfortunate spin there with only 2 laps to go, but still able to wheel it back around, bring it home in 3rd place, able to get a podium finish for himself here tonight. Big old drift. Hear the Tokyo Drift music. Nah, maybe not anymore.
I think the radio went out on that one.
Yeah, I think the radio might have cut out on that last hit. But again, great job by Justin McMahon for managing a very hectic night here at Monza and bringing home the very first victory here again in the preseason of the Knapp Daddy Racing League. Great job for him. Gonna let it burn down just a little bit if he's got any tires left on that thing. Again, well-earned victory for him. Hoping to set up a great season here to come for himself. Bill Gentry again bringing it home. 2nd place, Brandon Trush coming home in 3rd place. Christian Morris bringing it home in 4th, Daniel Wilkerson in 5th, Stephen Bonomo in 6th, Brandon Lopez in 7th, and Thomas McLaughlin is going to bring it home in 8th place.
Probably the smoothest donuts burnouts I've seen in a while.
Yeah, that was high quality. That was good stuff. That's a man who knows what to do when he wins. Again, this would be the part of the broadcast where during a typical live broadcast, we would go ahead and start bringing up drivers for interview. This is a pre-record from last night's action, so we do not have our drivers here. In fact, most of these drivers are actually getting ready for their race at Bristol tonight in the Doghouse Racing League. You can catch that over on Intensity Broadcasting live on YouTube here in just about 30 minutes. But again, just wanted to say a huge thank you not only to everybody who joined us last night for the race or joined us on the live that unfortunately was cut off by a lot of stuff going on, but appreciate everyone who joined in here with us tonight as well, and liked, subscribed, anything like that was in the comments. It means the world to us, means the world to these drivers. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Again, congratulations to Justin McMahon as well for the win here. Bill Gentry finishing in 2nd place. Brandon Trush, number 23, bringing it home in 3rd. Kathy Trush in the comments, awesome job, number 23. Christian Morris bringing it home 4th in that number 11 machine. Again, shout out to him for being our race sponsor for this inaugural Knapp Daddy Series race. You can check Christian out live here every single Monday night here on iRacing in the Knapp Daddy Racing Series, or if you find yourself in the state of North Carolina and want to head on over to Caraway Raceway, you can catch Christian racing out there live. If you do see him, hoop and holler for him and let him know that the Knapp Daddy boys sent you. Daniel Wilkerson again brought it home in 5th place, Stephen Bonomo in 6th, Brandon Lopez in 7th, and Thomas McLaughlin in 8th. For the final time again, thank you to everyone who joined with us. It means the world to us. We're hoping for a great season here. Going to be coming back to you live next week. It's going to be at 8:15 here live on the Knapp Daddy Racing YouTube channel. We'll be joined as always by myself and John. And then the namesake where it all started, Mr. Baker Knapp.
It'll be good. I'm excited for it all. It's going to be a fun season. These guys are going to get after it, and it's good to watch them go after the tracks that are up ahead of them. Rockingham's going to be real good. It's going to be interesting to see, between tire wear or fuel mileage, or if it's just flat out kind of race to the finish. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely going to be a blast. I think the schedule that Greg put together is one that most drivers would envy over for a league. And I know he did it. He put the whole schedule together with drivers in mind, kind of keeping a lot of tracks a little shorter, but also tracks that you want to see, tracks that you want to go to. Of course, we got to have a road course in there for our roadies out here, but not a big road course guy. But we'll be out at Kansas Roval. Haven't ever seen that track driven before, so that's going to be an exciting time. But next week, starting at 8:15 Eastern here on Knapp Daddy Racing YouTube channel, we will be at Rockingham. We actually will be there for sure next time with a better overlay system that can actually show you a little bit more detail of what we're doing and back to kind of our normal broadcast. So thanks to everybody for coming out tonight, spending your Tuesday night at this point with us and hanging out and kind of forgiving us for all the little mishaps that's happened last night and everything, but looking to come back stronger next week and a lot better. But with that said, for the last time tonight, I have been John.
And I've been Hunter.
I'm Baker.
And we will see you guys next time.
Take it easy, everybody.